In this video, I'm going to show you how to make this family travel organizer wallet. The pattern is available in my Etsy shop and on my website. The links are in the video description. I'm going to talk you through the features now. You've got a wristlet strap. It closes with a large flap to protect the contents and secures with a magnetic snap. Inside, you've got a loop to hold a pen. You've got two separate passport pockets, each hold 1 to 3 passports, so you've got space for up to 6 passports. You've got a large zipper pocket here where you can put cash. You can also put a phone in there. You've got a long slip pocket here and 3 card slot pockets which hold more than 1 card each. So let's get started. Travel wallet is made up from rectangles, so there's no complicated pattern pieces to cut and stick together. The instructions come with a chart to tell you the size to cut each piece, and I tell you how to lay out the fabric, how to put it onto your cutting board, and how to divide it up so that you can use the least amount of fabric as possible, and so that you can use directional prints with no problem. You'll have them all facing the right way. There's labels for each piece, so to keep you organized. And the 2 pieces to cut is a piece here that will help you shape your flap and place your magnetic snap. And then there's an exterior snap marker so that we can work out where to put the snap onto the exterior piece so that the flap and the front go together nicely. As the pattern's made from rectangles, you're going to enjoy this a lot more if you have a rotary cutter, a cutting ruler, and a cutting mat. In the pattern, I tell you how to lay out your fabric, how to cut it into strips, and then divide those strips into the pieces you need for your travel wallet. So I'm going to cut the lining here. And then I show you how to divide that up to cut that into your pattern pieces. So we'll come back when I've cut all the pieces. When you're cutting your exterior fabric, if you've used a directional print as I'm using here, 2 things to keep in mind. When you're cutting your exterior piece, you're going to have the front of the wallet and the back of the wallet. So the front of the wallet is going to be on the right hand side. So if there's a part of your design that you want to showcase on the front, you need to position, when you cut that piece, I like this section here. So this is going to be the front of my wallet. When you're cutting the flap, I'll show you when you cut the pieces afterwards, you're going to fold the flap like this. So again, you need to work out on the right hand side the section that you want to be on the front of your flap. Now we have all our pieces cut. From the lining fabric, you're going to cut zipper pocket A, which is going to be this side of the zipper pocket. You can see it's narrower, and zipper pocket B, which you can see is wider. There's also, you're cutting the zipper pocket lining, which is going to be what goes inside here. From the exterior fabric, you're going to cut the exterior piece, which is here. You're going to cut the flap. You've got the passport pockets, the card slot pockets, and this long slip pocket here. You're also going to cut the wristlet strap and that D-ring holder. For each piece, I've given you a tick chart you can see here, so you can make sure that you've got the main fabric, and you can make sure that you've got your interfacing, and you can tick each box to make sure you've got all those pieces. Now I'm going to take those to my ironing board. We're going to iron those interfacing pieces to the exterior and the lining fabrics. Now we've got all our pieces ironed. We've put the interfacings into the middle of each section. The pockets, the slip card slots, the boarding pass, and the passport pockets, you iron the interfacing into the middle, and then you fold it in half. Keep the pieces attached, so you can keep the labels attached so you can tell which is each piece. The wristlet straps, D-rings, the zipper pocket pieces, there's a bit of a strange way to put the interfacing in, which I will explain when I get to those pieces. The interfacings for each section is thought out so that it stays out of the seam allowance and gives you the stability that you need for each section of the wallet. So I do suggest paying attention to those instructions and using the recommended interfacings that I give you in the pattern. So that's each piece. There's a chart that in the pattern instructions, it tells you how to interface each section. Because I have my camera set up here, I'm going to do things in a little bit of a different order to the pattern instructions. We're going to be adding the magnetic snaps to the flap and to the wallet exterior. You're going to need those two pieces, the flap and the exterior snap marker. You can see that there's dots on each that will show you where to place those magnetic snaps. I suggest using Peltex, which I give you the dimensions for in the pattern. I put those behind the magnetic snaps to hold the prongs in place so they don't pop out when you use the wallet. If you don't have Peltex, you can use thick felt or some kind of just thicker fabric to put behind. I'll show you how to do that in a minute. So we're going to start with the exterior. Remember when I told you when we were cutting that there's going to be the front section here where we're going to put the snap and then the back of the wallet. So you need to arrange your fabric, if it's got a directional print, that this is going to be the front of the wallet on the right hand side. What we're going to do, we're going to measure, we're going to place that exterior snap marker, line it up with that edge on the right hand side. Can you see here that there's a dot? You're going to place the back of your magnetic snap over the dot so that that black marker fills up half the circle in the middle of your snap. Then we're going to mark where that magnetic snap is going to go. Sorry, I should have been more organized and had my scissors there. So then we're going to cut along those lines, make a slit carefully so that you don't fray the fabric or cut too far. I'm going to cut along those lines. I know I shouldn't, but I use a normal pen. You can use a fabric marker if you want to be more professional than I am. So then you put the snaps through there, the prongs through there, so that they're coming out onto the back. Be careful when you put them through that you don't rip that fabric. So the interfacing that you've got here means that you've got a stronger area here when you make the slit, that you're not cutting just through fabric. So you're using the female part of your snap, this section here, and we're putting that on the right hand side. Then what I do is I give you instructions for where to place. We're going to make a mark here and we're going to cut prongs in there and we're going to put that over. I've totally confused you. We're going to be using the smaller piece, not that long piece. So you're going to place the back of the marker, the back of your magnetic snap over the center of your square, make the marks for your prong, place it over, then put the back of the magnetic snap. I use a ruler to open my snaps, the prongs. Because you've got that piece of Peltex, it's going to stop these prongs going through the fabric. So I put my prongs outwards. I know some people put tape over the edge of the prongs, but what I've done is I've arranged the interfacing for the pocket lining is a thicker interfacing, so that's going to protect those prongs so it doesn't come through your fabric. So that is your wallet exterior. And now we're going to do the flap. You've got 2 layers of interfacing here, so it's not going to be so easy to fold. So what I do is I use a hero marker and I make a line down the middle so that I can fold it, because I'm going to be folding wrong side to wrong side. So I've made a gentle line down the middle. I don't know if you can see that. You can see it. Because we're using one piece of fabric for the flap, we need to pay attention to which side of our fabric is going to be on the exterior here, and which side of the fabric is going to be on the interior where the magnetic snap is going to be. So if you have a directional print, make sure that you put it the right way up. You can see this section is going to be on the front. What I do is I put a clip so that I know which side is going to be which, because I want to make sure that I don't put the magnetic snap on the wrong side. So this is the side, the underside, and this is the side that's going to be the wallet exterior. So I'm going to fold that in half. When you fold it, make sure that the pattern is the right way up and you're folding short side to short side. So I'm folding that, matching all those corners, and clip that in place. Then we take that flat piece that we cut earlier, and this short end here is going against the folded end of our fabric here. So we're going to clip that in place. And we're going to be cutting these corners off through all the layers of the fabric. So we've cut through all layers, we've cut those corners off there. Now what you're going to do, remember where you've put that marker, we're going to fold this in half, matching those corners. And we're going to use this circle here to measure where our snap is going to be. So remember, we know that this is the right side. This is going to be on the front of the travel wallet. And then this side, the other side, is where the snap is going to be. So what you're going to do now is match up those corners. And we are going to use this circle here. So we're going to, like we did before, we're going to put the back of the snap over. I don't know if you can see that there. The back of the snap is going to go over that marker. And then we're going to draw where we're going to make the slits for the prongs like we did last time. So when we make the slits, we're going to open this up. We don't want it to go through both sides. So we're going to open it up, make the holes to put the prongs of the snap through. And this time we're using the female side. Can you see that? So we're going to put that through from the right side to the wrong side. And now this time we're going to use that bigger piece of Peltex. In the pattern instructions I show you where to make the holes for the prongs. And we're going to place that over, put the back of the snap over the prongs, and then, whoops, I'm sorry about the noise. Then I use my ruler and open out those prongs. So the Peltex stops the prongs going through your fabric, and the interfacing here stops the prongs rubbing onto the wrong side here. We're going to fold this in half, clip it in place, and we're going to take that to our sewing machine. And we're going to sew along here and here, here and here with a 3/8 seam allowance, leaving this edge open so that we can turn the flap to the right side. I like to do all my sewing in one go, so I'm going to show you how to prepare those pockets in case you're like me and you just want to whisk them all the way through your sewing machine all together. The passport pockets is going on this side. The card slots and the boarding pass pocket, which is here, are going on this side. If you have a directional print, you need to make sure that they're facing the right way. So I suggest placing your pockets the way that you want them to be on your travel wallet. So the passport pocket with the fold on this side, right side facing up here. Card slot pocket and the boarding pass pocket, the fold is on this side with the right side facing here. So I put my clips on again like I did with my flap so that I know which is the right side. So that when I'm top stitching, I'm going to put them through my machine, and this one I'm going to turn upside down so that the top stitching is on the right side. We're now going to sew around those edges on the flap with a 3/8 inch seam allowance, 1 centimeter, and we're going to stop top stitch along the edges of those pockets. I'm using an industrial machine, but this is domestic machine friendly, this pattern, because I have arranged all the interfacing so that they're outside of your seam allowance so that it's not too bulky. When I'm sewing the flap, I go over the edges on those corners, and then what I do is I clip into that corner, being careful not to go into the stitching. That makes it easier and gives you a sharper point when you turn that corner. I'm going to use a point turner to get into those corners, to push them out, go along those seams. Can you see that nice edge there? And then on the other side, going into those corners, going along that top edge. I'm going to take that to my ironing board. I'm going to press that, and then I'm going to top stitch around all the edges and sealing off that closed end. When sewing the flap, when you get to each corner, put the needle down and then turn round the corner with the needle down so that you get a nice line of stitching, and go slowly along this edge. This is where your Peltex is, and that's where your magnetic snap is, so just want to make sure that you're not sewing through that. We've put our flap aside for later, and now we're going to sew the D-ring and the wristlet strap. For the wristlet, after you've ironed it, you're going to put your swivel hook through, and then you're going to match those edges. You're going to open it out, and we're going to sew along this edge with a 3/8 inch seam allowance, 1 centimeter. So matching up those corners. While I'm here, I'm going to do the edges of my D-ring holder as well. I'm going to put my D-ring through. I'm going to clip that. And you can either put a magnetic snap here, sorry, not a magnetic snap, you can either put a rivet here, or you can sew with a zipper foot close to that D-ring edge. Okay, going back to that wristlet. Now we're going to open out the seam allowance here. Open that out, and those fold marks we have from our ironing, we're going to fold it back along there. So we've got our wristlet here, and now we're going to top stitch along both those edges. I sew along that seam edge to get to the other side. You can backstitch and cut the thread if you want. To stop the wristlets twisting, it's better if you go back, carry on round along the same direction. So you're sewing along that outer edge. and you've got that wristlet, I put that seam edge up towards the D-ring. Then you can either sew along here, change to your zipper foot and either sew along here, or you can do it as I do, and you can put a rivet in here, which I will do a little bit later. The rivets are done on the D-ring holder and the wristlet strap. In the pattern instructions, I show you where to draw a line along the edge of the D-ring holder so you know where to line that up later on your travel wallet. So we put those aside for now. Now we're going to do the zipper pocket. So we're going to prepare our zipper with those zipper tabs. So you're going to take one zipper tab, right side up, and I tell you the length to cut your zipper that's all in the pattern instructions. So you place the zipper tab right side up, the end of the zipper on top, then the zipper tab right side down on top of that, and we're going to sew through that. I double stitch backwards and forwards over the end of the zipper to make sure that's secure. So we have sewn along the end of the zipper here, then we're going to fold those pieces back, so the right side out, and top stitch along that end. Then we're going to repeat the same on the other end of the zipper. Open the zipper up, place the end onto the right side of your zipper tab, the other zipper tab right side down on top, keeping that zipper closed. Pinch those edges together, move that to your machine, and we're going to sew along the end. And then as before, turn those right side out, and we're going to top stitch along. We're now going to sew zipper pocket A. We're now going to be sewing the zipper pocket section of your travel wallet. There's zipper pocket A, which is the narrower side, and zipper pocket B, which is the wider side. Each section has an outer fabric and the lining fabric that goes on the underside of the zipper. The interfacing, we do this a little bit differently to the rest of the travel wallet. We want the interfacing to go along the edge of the zipper, but not into this section, which is going to be where the contents of your travel wallet are. We don't want to bulk it up too much into those seams. So in the pattern instructions, I show you where to put the interfacing. So I'm just explaining why we do it that way. So we're putting B aside for now, and we're going to be sewing zipper pocket A now. The closed end of the zipper needs to be at the top. We've got this section of the interfacing on the right hand side. The closed end of the zipper is at the top. The lining piece, this is the exterior, the interfacing is on the exterior piece. The lining piece, that piece that's on the inside of your zipper, we're going to place the zipper along the right hand edge, centering it. You can base that in place, or if you're a professional zipper sewer, you can put the right side on top, right side to right side, with that interfacing on the right hand edge, the edge that is going along the zipper. Then you're going to sew along here on this side of the zipper. Change to a zipper foot so that you can get as close to that zipper as possible. I've used narrow zippers, you can use a wider zipper if you want to. And we're going to sew along here. So we've sewn along this edge, right side to right side, along the edge with the interfacing, with that zipper in the middle. We're then going to fold those pieces outwards, and we're going to take it to our ironing board because we are professionals. We're going to press this and top stitch along here. And there's a nice pressed edge and top stitch. Honestly, if you guys weren't watching me, I probably would have turned it and finger pressed it, but I have to pretend that I'm professional for you guys. Okay, we're going to do zipper pocket B. So we're going to take the lining piece, and as we did before, we're going to place the zipper on top, matching those edges, and the piece with the interfacing, we're going to put that on top, and again sew along here. I've sewn my zipper pocket A, zipper pocket B. As you can see, the zipper is to the left hand side, it's not down the middle. They're doing building work outside, so I hope you can hear me. The passport pockets is going to go on this side. I've made a mark down the middle, so I'm going to put this on this side. I'm going to clip it in place, I'm going to sew through all layers along this line here. At my sewing machine, I have put the card slots on top of the boarding pass pocket, and as per the pattern instructions, I've made the markings for the credit card slots. So I'm going to sew those at the same time as well while I'm at my sewing machine. The card slots is on top of the boarding pass pocket. I've made those marks as shown in the pattern instructions for those card slots, and I've sewn through to the top of the card slots through both layers. That's going to go on the left hand side, on the side closest, on the shorter zipper side, the zipper side A. And I'm going to clip those in place, matching those edges. I've sewn along through my passport pockets to separate those out, sewn through all layers here. Now for the pen holder, I'm going to clip that in place, and I give you the measurements for that in the pattern instructions. I'm going to sew along here. I'm going to do that now before I put the flap on, just to make sure that that is secure. So I've sewn the loop on, that elastic for our pen holder pocket. I'm using the same elastic that we used to use for those masks, plenty left over. And I've sewn along here to secure the card slots and the boarding pass pocket to our pocket panel. Now we're going to attach the flap. Snap side down. We're going to center it along this edge. So I'm going to clip that in place and sew that along there. So we have our flap sewn in place. The edge of that pen loop is sticking out over the edge. It's underneath here. The last thing we're going to attach is the D-ring holder. In the pattern instructions, I tell you where to place it, and we're matching that line that we made up with the edge of this panel. I didn't say, but we're sewing everything that we've sewn in place so far. This is going to be in the seam allowance, so we don't see it afterwards when we sew it around. So these are sewn around in the seam allowance. We're going to attach the D-ring, and then we're going to put it all together. This is the exciting bit, putting it all together. Really, 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 really important, because you will kick yourself later if you don't do it, is you need to open that zipper. We're going to turn the wallet through the zipper once we've sewn around the edges, so very important, you need to open that zipper now. So place this panel right side up on your workspace, and you're going to take your exterior with the snap is going to go on the opposite side to the flap. So the snap is over the card slot pockets. This is going to be, if you've got a directional fabric, just check that everything's the right way up. So your snap is going there, right side to right side with the pocket pieces. Then we are going to take the pocket lining piece. We have attached the interfacing here. We've kept it out of the seam allowance, and we're going to place this right side up on top. So this is wrong side to wrong side with the exterior, and the exterior is right side to right side with the pockets. We're going to match all those edges, and we're going to clip it around here, then take it to our sewing machine and sew around all these edges with a 3/8 inch 1 centimeter seam allowance. So I've sewn around all those edges. I like to sew around twice just to make sure it's secure. If you're using a domestic machine, you can zigzag around these edges here to hold all those threads in place. I've trimmed my threads off. I haven't trimmed the edge of the D-ring holder, and I've not trimmed away the edge of the pen loop. I'm going to turn this around, and through that open zipper, I'm going to turn the wallet to the right side. This is going to take a bit of time because I'm going to poke out all those corners and get rid of loose threads. So I will show you when I'm done. I've turned my wallet the right way around and I have pressed it. And doesn't it look good? Boarding pass pocket, card slots, passport pockets, D-ring holder, and inside your zipper you've got the lining there. So I've pressed this all, pressed it on both sides, and I'm going to top stitch around the edges, and I've made a line down the middle. I'm going to top stitch down the middle as well. If I don't top stitch down the middle, this pocket goes all the way along, which means the contents are not going to stay on one side. It means when you close the wallet, everything's going to be falling all over the place. So we're going to top stitch down the middle here to secure that pocket. And that's your wallet finished. Top stitched around the outer edge, and the middle line I've done from the edge of the top stitching to the edge of the top stitching. So you've got your zipper pocket fully lined that goes until the middle. Pockets here, card slots, passport pockets. I've attached the wristlet strap, and it folds in half, closes with a snap. There you go, all done. The link to the pattern is in the video introduction. You can buy this on my Etsy shop or on my website, and I hope you enjoy the pattern, and I would love to see what you make with it.